Okay guys, we have finished our foreground for our composition and we're ready to move on to the middle ground. So the foreground, as we know, is going to be closest to us in a composition. The middle ground is just like it sounds, the middle area of the painting or the composition, photograph, shot in a movie. So middle ground is in the middle. So we're gonna go ahead and keep the foreground pressed down as we draw this. Now I'm going to show you how to do a house similar to this or maybe exactly like this, but you can make variations on this. So if you wanted to change the middle ground and do a different style house, maybe you want to do a couple row houses, or you want to do a different style house, that's fine with me, okay? But I'm going to be demonstrating how to draw one similar to the one I drew here. So the first thing I'm going to do is, just like with this one when I did the foreground, I'm going to kind of mark out about how high I want to go. So this was about a third of the way up. I'm going to say this is a little more than 2/3 of the way where the chimney hits up here. So I'm just going to make a little line there to kind of help me gauge the size of my composition and know that it's really not going to be any higher than that. And in fact, it's really going to be about a third if we take off the top of the chimney and just count where the roof line is. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and sketch in the line for where the roof line will hit. Okay, so that's about where my roof line is going to be. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and do a diagonal line up to that guideline I just sketched. And of course, I'm going to sketch everything lightly and I'll go back in and refine it later. Okay, from here, I'm going to do a diagonal line out this way, like you're making a triangle here. I'm going to do a straight line from here, and it's going to go almost to the edge of the paper, but not quite. It's going to go to about there, maybe a hair further, and then we're going to come up with the diagonal line. So it should be running parallel to this one. And you know what parallel means: two lines running in the same direction which never intersect. We used parallel lines when we were working on a 1-point perspective. Okay, from here, I'm going to come down and do a straight line down, and it's going to hit at the top of these bushes I've drawn. So I didn't do it right from the corner. I scooted the pencil in just a little bit, and then just sketch a straight line down. Okay, now we're going to come over and find this point on our roof. Our line is not going to come straight down from there. We're actually going to go up the diagonal line a little bit, and then do a straight line down from there. Okay. All right, next we're going to come over here, and I am going to follow this line over and make a little mark and do another very thin diagonal line that's going to come up, and it's going to stop here. Okay, from there, I'm going to come straight down from this little intersection with a straight line. Does not have to be 100% perfect. I'm not using a ruler here. I guess you could if you wanted to, but I would prefer you begin to practice just sketching these things out by hand. Okay, so now I'm going to come in and do my roof. Well, not my roof, my chimney on my roof. So I'm going to find about the middle of the chimney, and I'm just going to come down and do about 1/2 inch horizontal straight line. I'm going to come straight up from there, like I'm making a rectangle. In fact, I am making a rectangle or a square depending on how you space your lines. Okay. And then from here, you're going to go from this corner up to the line of the roof. It is a diagonal line. We're going to bring our pencil over from here just a little bit, like this. And what we're gonna do next is we're gonna come in here and we're gonna do a vertical line just a little bit over from that, right here, okay? We're gonna continue this horizontal line over to that, extend this a little bit beyond. This is gonna be that top rim of the chimney. Okay, from here, we are going to go straight over. This is just a straight line. Visually, it can be a bit tricky to understand, but that's just a straight line. This line does not match up with this one. It comes over just a hair and then a straight line over here. Okay, so there's the basic shape of our house. Obviously, you're going to go back in and you're going to erase some of these lines, which I'll do in the video as I go back in to refine things. Okay, so now we want to add some of those details. So this is a salt box shape house. That is a real term, guys. And that's what the shape of this is representing. We're going to come in here and we want to make sure we leave some space for some windows. So you can lightly sketch these in. Sometimes it takes a minute to get the placement just right. So I'm going to start with the top window. I'm just going to sketch in a rectangle there. I'm going to come down here and I'm going to space these next sets of windows so that they're basically on either side of that one. And again, this may take some adjustment as far as placement goes, so you might want to scoot one of the lines out a little bit or bring the other line in a bit, just to try and get your spacing. And you want to keep your windows about the same size, just because typically when we're looking at a house, not all the windows, but the majority of the windows are the same size. So again, right now is a great time to just do some sketch lines and then go back in and refine it once you get it finished up. Okay, so we're going to pop a door in here. You can come down. Just draw a line straight down, a line straight down on this side. Okay, we're almost done with what we see in the middle ground here. Okay, now we're going to come over here and add in 2 windows over here. I'm going to make these about in line with where the top of the door was on this part of the house. So I just draw a straight line across. And I leave about the same distance here and here. And trying to keep them about the same size. They might be a little bit bigger down here, and that's okay. But I'm going to keep these 2 about the same size. Okay. I would go back in and erase that line. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're actually going to flip the foreground open. So yours should be opening so that it opens to the right-hand side. Hopefully you did that. I'm going to open this up and I'm going to lay this on top so we can see the rest of the drawing. So here we have the foreground again. We've lifted it off, okay? But when it's all folded up, this is the middle ground, this is the foreground. But I wanted to continue the picture just for fun. So what we're going to do, you can see, you can use this to already provide some information here if you want, and put some bushes in here in your composition. So I'm going to have this extend out and up a little bit. Let's see how this one worked on this one. That one's completely covered in there. So I'm going to bring this down and follow these lines. So you know, I'm just going to lightly sketch this out. I'm going to use those lines that were up there before to help me put these bushes in this part. Okay, I'm going to put right here. And just put a little bush in front of there. Okay. All right, then from here, I'm going to continue that path down and out off of my paper. Okay, if you want to put another bush in there or a stone, whatever you feel like popping in there, go ahead and do that. Again, it doesn't have to be identical to mine. I encourage you to come up with your own ideas, but certainly if you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed or unsure of how to do this, you can follow along with me. Okay, so now all I'm going to do is I'm going to refine and clean up these lines just so that I have a better presentation later on. Okay, and now we are ready for the next step. So what we're going to do now is grab our scissors that we used yesterday, and we're going to cut out the area here, which would normally be our background. So we're going to go ahead and follow the line of the bush carefully, cut up the side of the house and around it. I'm going to go ahead and cut right on this line. Save your scrap paper if you want any nice big chunks. Goes in your folder. I'm also going to follow this line down here carefully. And cut out the little space that was left. Okay, so now if we fold this back up, now we've got our foreground and middle ground, and in the next video we'll be working on our background.